Welcome back to My Moment. Once again, you're rocking with your boy Stay Humble, and I want to thank you for tuning in. I'm down here, you can see, right downtown, actually up on Mount Washington. I'll be working down here the next few days. But as I'm down here, what I want to talk about just briefly is part of my morning devotion today. And it talked about being like a sheep. You know, and we know that that Jesus is the good shepherd, right? That he's the shepherd, that he's the leader of the flock. And he said, my sheep know my voice, and they won't follow a stranger. They'll only follow me. And, you know, sometimes, today I talked a bit about provision, and sometimes me as a sheep, I want to do my own thing, man. Like, I want to do my own thing. I want to make my own way. And I would just like to encourage you, man, if you're really struggling right now, if you're really going through some battles with provision and being content with what God has for you, and not just in your giftings, your talents, your abilities, what he's called you to do, but also in his provision, which is a difficult piece for me. You know, I want to make my own way. I want to do, you know, my own thing. And so that makes it really difficult to rest in his provision. But I'll tell you, over the course of the last year and a couple months now that I've been out on my own and trying to figure this thing out, just trusting the Lord, he has not let us down, man. He has not let us down. You know what I'm saying? Every time he comes through and provides, and you know, as a sheep, the sheep trust the shepherd. You know, they know that voice. And so I just want to encourage you, man. You know, the Bible tells us that godliness with contentment is great gain. And for me to be content and the fact that God is moving me toward his purpose, that he's sanctifying me, setting me apart, causing me to live more and more like his son, you know, and then also the fact that he's cleansing me from the lusts of this world and you know, chasing after stuff that in the end is only going to burn anyway, you know. So I would encourage you, man, you know, rest in what the Lord has for you. And that doesn't mean like, oh man, you know, let me just sit down and lay here and not do nothing. But instead, you know, it's not all about chasing everything the world has. It's not all about the new car and the new house and all of that kind of stuff. But instead being content and doing what God has called you to do, and him providing your means, you know. And I want to run this race well. I want to not be tired, just like, oh my gosh, I'm doing it all in my own strength. But instead, I want to run empowered by the Spirit of the living God, so that I would see the fruit, not my fruit, you know, from my own thinking and my own planning, but the fruit of God at work in me. So I want to encourage you guys, man, trust the Lord's provision. Remember when Paul said, you know, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. It wasn't about accomplishing goals and tasks and missions and stuff like that, but instead it was about being content. He said, yo, when I have little, I know how to be cool. You know what I mean? And Paul was in prison, and he was cool, writing letters encouraging other believers. But he also said, I know how to abound. I know when times are good, how to not get too high, how to not get too low. But to take this roller coaster ride and stay even keeled, trusting and believing that the shepherd got me. So I want to encourage you, man, do the same thing. Love you guys. Grace and peace. This is your moment.